So I drove to a different spot. I wanted to check out another spot. I got a doe tag for this area. I shot, I can't remember which log it is. It's like that log, one of these logs that are laying down, falling. I wounded a buck. Geez, like 6 years ago probably. And actually I shot at him, he ran, he stopped, I shot again, and he ran around the hill, and me and my dog went down there, and I was on my hands and knees looking at drips of blood around this thing, and we caught up to him in the creek bottom on the other side, and I couldn't get my dog in, and she jumped him and he took off somewhere. But anyway, I came back the next day and went straight over to where I'd last seen all the blood, where he'd bedded down. And then I came back one more day with my friend, and we found some blood up on the hill where he'd bedded down, and it pretty much looked like he'd stopped bleeding. So I think I might have took the skin off him on that one. Gosh. Another time my brother goes up here and I'm waiting down here, and I start hearing all this racket, and I'm like, geez, he's loud, you know. And I was gonna work my way up the valley and flush anything to him, and so all of a sudden I'm just hearing all this noise, and next thing I see is all these elk going through the trees, and then they're all up on the side of that hill, and they go all the way around here, and they went in there, and they all just stopped in there. I could see them from here, but I was up there. I ran down to here, and I was looking at them all through the scope, and they were all cows. And you have to have a bull. It has to be a bull, brown tine bull, to shoot. And so I think as they were running, a buck and a doe go running by, and I'm like, huh. And so like the doe and buck go by, there's elk all over this hill, and I'm like, none of them are bulls. I'm just looking at them through my scope, like, none of them are bulls, none of them are bulls. And then I hear pow, and I'm like, son of a gun. I'm like, I know my brother must have got one up there, and I'm like, it must have been the bull. And so I go up there, and I'm like, he shot a nice white-tailed buck is what happened. And I go, whoa, you didn't see those elk? He goes, what elk? And I'm like, oh my gosh, there was 20 elk at least that went across that hill, man. It was so funny. But the buck I shot at was a big buck. Oh man, I got buck fever. I actually, he was following some does down into this here, and I was like, he didn't give me a good shot, and he never stopped. And I was like, okay, I did the right thing, didn't take a rush shot. And then he came back out, and that's when I don't know, I lost my cool, and I just slung some lead at him. And actually turned out that those scope rings were loose. Actually, I flat out missed a mule deer buck the next year, and then I took that thing, and then I started reloading the next year, and I could not shoot that thing. And I go into AccuArms, and he checks it out, and he goes, your scope's moving 9 inches. You know, they put the thing on the end of your barrel, and he could just move my scope. He goes, yeah, you're changing 9 inches every time I flex this thing. And so the scope rings weren't tight on it. It was they were actually bottomed out into old Loctite. They couldn't go any deeper, so I cranked down on them, and they bottomed out on Loctite, but it still was moving. then last year I flat out missed a buck at like 50 yards or less, trying to shoot offhand. I couldn't shoot from down low because of the slope of the hill, so I had to stand up to see the buck, and I was so excited and out of breath, and I shot and I never could find any blood. So it's part of why I'm hesitant to sling lead at 300 yards and whatnot. But yeah, I think I might head up this ridge, and then I might just head home. The wind, it's a little bit windy and chilly. I'm kind of about had it. But I was kind of hoping. So like straight across to that old logging road cut, it's like 220 yards. And that, if I had one broadside, a nice stow, I would shoot that. Shouldn't be too hard. I might just hold high, hold on the top of her back or something. But yeah, it's a cool place to hang out. I just hang out, ate lunch, and then I'll just hang out until I can't handle the cold, and then yeah, that's about it. Yeah.